Thank you.
Okay, don't need to take down too much notes. We'll be sending you a deck on what virtual run is later on. I hope that you guys get most importantly is focus on what we would like to share tonight, right? So some of you might have heard who is CheckPointSpot, right? Some of the organizations have actually raised fund before. I'm sure you have done your walk, physical walk. That's of course before pandemic. You do your walks, you do your run to raise fund. You will probably come across us because you come to us to do the registration of your event, right? Maybe at the end of the day, you also ask us, hey, can I have your certificate for all my participant, right? So these are all the technology that we do. We actually power a lot of major marathons, major cycling events like KL Marathon, Malaysia Women Marathon, all the major events, we actually power them from the time they register to the time where thousands and thousands of people go and collect their race pack, their t-shirt and their running bib. On the day where you run, you want your timing to be accurate. You want your timing to determine where is your position and so on. We do all these services end to end. Yeah. So this is basically in a nutshell what CheckPointSpot does, right? So back in March 2020, as you all know, when pandemic suddenly hit, right? None of the sporting event is ongoing until now. It's been a year plus, right? That's how we have been enduring, not a single running event from then until now. Yeah. So during that time in between, because we are a technology company, we build all this technology, right? So our team actually built an engine to submit a race result, right? A leaderboard, which is actually a display of your position and your time and so on, right? So the reason we did this is because when pandemic hit, the first thing that crossed our mind is this is going to be bad for the industry, right? Our immediate thought was, hey, what happens to our race organizer, right? They cannot do their event, they are going to suffer, and we don't know how long this is going to take. So we developed this engine. Hopefully right now they can register, they can submit results, they can have a leaderboard, and you can still, participant can still get your certificate, right? This is in a nutshell, something like a virtual run, right? I wish I would go a little bit into detail. So since we build that for our organizers, that's where, that's how we lead to this session today. Okay, let me proceed a little bit more, right? I just want to show you all a quick picture of our team. Yeah. Why the reason that I showed is this was taken during our last Buka Puasa, yeah, which was a few months back, right? The faces you see here, I mean, the head count you see here is actually half of the team that we used to have. Yeah. So I just also want to share with everybody that, yes, we have got fallen comrade as well, right? We have got family members, with us who have actually has to leave because of the current situation. Right, so these are the team. Some of the faces you see here are also probably not there anymore, right? So that is the reason why exactly we feel that we should maybe try to do a seminar like this to actually help up other people, because we are badly hit. We believe a lot of people are going through this as well, right? So this is the reason why one of the key reasons why we are doing this. It's like a personal thing for us, right? So let me quickly go into why virtual race, right? Why all of us as a NGO, non-profit organization, right, or even corporates or race organizer, why should you go into virtual race? Okay, we have got two biggest question mark right now, right? The first question we will ask ourselves: when will situation normalize? Right? I remember back in late 2020, when after a few months, after lockdown opens and so on and so forth, right? So we are thinking, okay, maybe end of 2021, things will gradually start to come back, right? I mean, that's for my industry, right? And right now we are into our third quarter, right? There is no light at the end of the tunnel. We dare not even speculate whether 2022 things will be back, right? So even if things comes back, what is normal anymore? Will people run like they used to run, 5,000 people, 10,000 people, right? So there's actually a lot of big questions, right? But the biggest question is always when. Nobody can actually tell you when. We thought it's going to be later part of this year. Now we thought probably later part of next year. But what if later part of next year things doesn't happen, right? So these are the questions that we need to ask ourselves, right? We need to get prepared. That's why I asked this question, right? So what is our darkest fear? The other fear we have is, will we even learn right now to live with the virus among us, right? If we look at the environment right now, right, everybody's mind is conditioned to think that, hey, once our vaccination rate goes up, hopefully we'll get herd immunity, right, and things will improve, right? Some of you all here tonight with us in this webinar, you are a doctor, right? Qualified doctor. I'm not a doctor, right? But as far as I know, vaccination is not a cure, right? You still can get infected, but of course you have the antibody to fight, right? You will still have people who are weak, who will still succumb to the virus, although you have vaccination, right? You will still be able to pass the viruses around, even though you have vaccination. So what if, things doesn't improve, things keep spreading, mortality rate might come down, but spread, or what they call that, the spreading rate is still high, right? So there's a lot of what if, right? So if you look at our current situation right now, we are still in, I call it pandemic or COVID planning stage. We are not even talking about planning for our recovery, right? We are still talking about, hey, how many people can get, vaccinated, right? Today we are, gunning for 300,000 a day and stuff like that, right? So we are still talking about pandemic planning. We have not moved on. We have not learned to live with the virus. Yeah, we are all hoping once that increase, things will be, hunky-dory again, right? But my question is, what if it doesn't, right? There is no one who can actually assure us. What we see a lot of time, to me, some will argue that these are all pharmaceutical propaganda, right? Some will say these are all politician talking, right? But I'm not going to dispute that. But what I'm saying is that we have to protect ourselves. We got to anticipate, what if that darkest fear of ours still remain after next year? What are we going to do, right? And the worst case is, the worst situation is Malaysia is facing two pandemic, right? We are facing COVID-19, and the other pandemic, the other sickness that I say is, you look at our leadership, right? I'm sure you know, right? This evening, they all rush to see Agong, right? They are still appointing people, to be number one, number two, number three. But who is managing our country? Who is managing our economy? Right? We are already on a downhill even prior to pandemic. Pandemic just escalate things, right? What if Malaysia can't recover as fast as we want it to be, right? The prolonged lockdown from MCO1, MCO2, MCO3, as a business person, right? I'm not saying we should not lock people down, right? I'm saying prolonged lockdown could have its own repercussion, right? What if there is economic structural damage due to the prolonged lockdown? It's going to take us 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years to even recover, right? So this is where we feel, what's going to happen to CheckPointSpot? I also don't know, right? I don't have all the answer, but to me is, I will find every single opportunity I can to, at least sustain, because I've got a team that we need to, be responsible for. So this is why I'm suggesting to the NGO as well, you guys have to be prepared, right? In the worst scenario, you got to be prepared. What can you do? As it is, I'm very sure you're already feeling the pinch, right? Donations are not coming in fast enough. People are, unable to contribute as much as they do, right? You can imagine the amount of requests of donation that I receive. Even I, as my capacity, personal capacity, I've also reached a stage of capacity that is actually quite tough, right? Because all of us, just now you see in my team, all of us take severe steep pay cut just to make sure that we remain, right? And that is half of us, right? The other half is gone, right? So things are bad. That is why we are suggesting, hey, organization, please consider this. Yeah, I don't know whether it will work for you, but I think it will, right? So let me go on. Now you understand why we are doing this, right? Let me share with you what actually is a virtual race. Some people call it virtual run if you're doing running. Some people call it virtual ride, right? So as you see from the picture, there's one lone lady running. That is what virtual race is all about. It's an individual challenge that you run at your own time and location. Those days you join a race, there's a fixed time, fixed flag off, I call it. Everybody goes to the race site, everybody flag off together, you know, it's all fun and good, right? So right now the difference is you still join a race, you do still join a challenge, but instead of you flagging off together with your friend, you flag off at your own time, at your own location. That is what, in a nutshell, a virtual race is all about. You can do it a running program, you can do it a cycling program, right? Either way, or you can even do a hybrid if you want, right? You can call it a virtual race. You can do it outdoor, you can also do it indoor, right? So that is the beauty. If today, let's say we are saying, okay, it's total lockdown and you can't even step out from your garden, which actually happened, right, in MCO1, right? Now MCO3, yeah, it's a bit of a freedom. You still can go out during certain time, but of course you cannot do outdoor activities, right? But you can actually do a lot of things indoor as well if it's a virtual race. Okay, I will share that with you. So what happened is when you join a race, right? Most of us have got our handphone. Most of us inside, let's say you're using an Apple, right? You have got Apple Health. If you're using a Xiaomi phone, you have got Mi Fit, right? So that every phone comes with a preloaded health app. The health app actually measures your, you know, your steps, your distance you run, the distance you cycle, your calorie and stuff like that, right? We use that to measure your activities, right? Some people they wear smartwatch nowadays, right? Some people have got what they call treadmill at home, right? Where you can actually see your time, your distance that you run, and so on, right? So these are all machines that you actually can use to join a virtual race, as long as it capture what the race is about, whether it's distance, whether it's time, whether it's calorie, you know, as long as you capture that, then the next thing you do is you submit the result and it goes to a race leaderboard, right? So you see the difference is those days you got to go to the venue, have fun together collectively. One day everything is over, right? This one is you do it at your own leisure, at your own time, at your own pace, right? But you feel mentally, you feel that, hey, I'm actually part of a program of an activity, right? It's just that there's no one with me. That's why it's called virtual, right? So this, in a nutshell, is what virtual race is all about. Just now I was saying you can do indoor and outdoor, right? Let me just give you an example. This is one event that we do in MCO 1.0, right? So this lady is actually running just around her porch, right? So what happened in MCO 1.0 is we know that everybody is going through a very tough time, right? Because total lockdown, right? There's a lot of, I call it mentally also challenge, right? Because it's actually quite tough for us to adjust to that. So at that time, we thought, okay, maybe we can do our part by doing an activity to keep people, you know, active and so on. So we did a 1 km a day challenge, right? So we tell all Malaysians, you join this challenge, which we did it for free. That was our, you know, CSR activities. We said, let's see how many kilometer Malaysians can accumulate over that. You know, I think the time was 14 days or something along that line, right? So what happened was these people, they will show us their video, like this lady is running there. I think it's blocking me, I can't close it, right? So the next one I can show you is, I look at this guy, right? He's living in an apartment. He's just running from his back door, front door to his balcony, probably, right? Front door, balcony, front door, balcony. The kid is also wondering what is my dad doing. Yeah, but that is what people do, right? It's virtual activities, right? I'm not saying it has to be at this stage, but I'm just telling you it can be outdoor. This is what virtual race is all about. Yeah. So that, I hope, gives you an idea what virtual event is all about. Let me move on. So now that you know, in a way, what a virtual race is all about, you just, if you want to organize it, you just need to think of a concept. What do I do, right? So this is just a sample of the app that I was actually talking about, right? So, you know, it will show you, the GPS will show you where you run and so on, your distance. It will show you your accumulative distance for that particular session, how much time you take, how many calories you burn, right? So all these informations that you see here can be a results that you can submit for a virtual race, right? So based on this understanding, all we need to do is let's think of a concept that will challenge people, right? That people want to have fun to do it, right? So there are various concepts that we can do, right? I'm just giving an example. You can do an individual challenge, or you can actually make it more fun and say, hey, let's do a group challenge, right? I will also give you an example how an individual and a group challenge is all about, right? You can count steps, you can count distance, you can count time, right? Basically, you can even count calorie if you want, right? No one has done calorie before. I think it'll be quite interesting. So you can also count calorie if you want to, right? So this is where how you measure your race. You can do it in a single race, or you can do it in accumulative of races. Meaning to say, if, for example, my challenge is, let's say, 50 miles, right? Here is miles, 50 miles. You got to run 50 miles in one race to complete it, or you can run 50 miles in unlimited races as long as you run within certain stipulated period, right? So all the terms and condition is actually set by the race organizer themselves, depending on the target group that you are actually targeting, right? People who can run a lot. If you're targeting the serious runner, you got to give them something more challenging. If you're targeting the, you know, the common runners, I call it, right? You might give them something not so taxing. Let me give you an example again, right? These are all the case studies that I hope you guys can see from here. So this is one live real event, right? Korea June Challenge, right? You look at the distance of this race, 6,000 kilometers, right? But of course, this is a team event. So a team, you can have up to 30 people. And you have got 30 days, 1st to 30th of June, to accumulate this 6,000. That's the target, right? But the winner will be whoever has got the most accumulative, right? So you can have up to 30 people in your team. So if you have 10 people, you got to run harder. You got 30 people, then you split the load. But every minimum individual have to accumulate 30 kilometers, right? So the example I'm giving you here is this is actually a group event. Right. The good thing about group event is people will try to get their friends to join, then you have a lot of participants, right? So you can do this in a virtual race. You can't do this in a physical race, because physical race is everyone for themselves, right? So this is also the advantage of a virtual race. Second example I can give you is this is a current program, another activity that we deal with Sina Hari. This is actually an anti-corruption campaign. So what we did was we wanted to relay the message of anti-corruption. So we basically tell Malaysians we are targeting 100 million steps, right? Let us all Malaysian accumulate 100 million steps as our strong message to say we are against the corruption culture in Malaysia, right? So what happened is a person will register here. They have 30 days after your registration to actually track your steps. Every day as we go about doing our chores and so on, even in the house itself, we should have easily chalked up about 2,500 to 3,000 steps, right? So every day you just submit it to the leaderboard. Let me show you how the leaderboard looks like, right? There's a submit button, right? There's a leaderboard. Right, this is the leaderboard that I'm talking about, where your races information will be shown here. Loading is a bit slow because I think too many things are running behind. I cannot close on my app because the thing is blocking on the top. So if you look at this 100 juta, right, leaderboard, up to date, we have actually accumulated, Malaysian has actually accumulated 142 million, right? We are nearing the end of our campaign, but we have actually surpassed the target that we want to, right? So Camellia actually contributed this over 30 days. Yeah, of course, runners, one day you can actually chalk out easily tens of thousands. Yeah, because runners, they're quite serious in running, right? So everybody will submit their results, right? Based on the submission button, then all your results will be shown here. This is the leaderboard I'm talking about. So this is where you get your, I call it a results, where people feel that it's like a race, right? It's like a race, but although it's virtual, it's like a race. You got your position, right? We can split it to gender if you want, right? So there are many ways of us doing it, right? We can portray a team here, the team collective effort, or in this case, this is individual running, right? Just now earlier on, I showed you was the team effort. This is individual running, right? And this is counting steps. Earlier one was counting kilometer, right? So I'm just giving you a variety of how people are doing it, right? The third sample that I just wanted to show you quickly is we talk about running, walking. Now we talk about cycling, Malaysian Cycling League, right? The race starts in August, almost 1 full month of August. How the race works, 4 weeks, you got to do your challenge, right? Within this date, you are supposed to complete 40 kilometers. So you pick a day, within this date, complete this. Second week, within this date, you complete this 40, right? 4 weeks, you are supposed to hit 160 kilometers, right? So this is what the participant must do. This is the rules of the race, right? 40 kilometers times 4 weeks, you're supposed to achieve this. Anything less than that, you are disqualified, right? So what happened is people will select a team they want to represent. For example, you know, I say I want to pick up my home state, yeah, Penang. I'm from Team Penang, right? So I will write under Team Penang name. I will achieve my 160 kilometer. I will submit my time under Team Penang leaderboard, right? What happened is we will accumulate the 10 fastest male rider, the 10 fastest female rider of each team to accumulate their time to determine which state is the champion state, right? So if you look at this event, this is the concept, right? This is a bicycle race concept. They even have actually fundraising. Part of the fees is actually contributed to the Malaysian National Cycling Federation, right? So as you can see, people are actually already starting to use virtual race for fundraising, right? Which I will go into detail. I think that's what you guys are more excited about. But basically, the three scenario that I shared with everyone is basically to show you, you can do group, you can do individual, you can count whatever that you want to count, distance, steps, right? Single race or accumulative race, right? Those are the sample that I've shown you. Now that you know the concept, right? This is a typical entitlement of a race. Organizer usually will say, okay, you sign up, you pay this amount of money, you will get your event fee, you will get your medal, right? You will get your running bib. Of course, in a physical race, this is all printed out for you, you wear during your race. In this case, you are getting a digital copy of the bib. Our system will auto generate with your name inside there and your numbers here. Yeah, so everything is controlled by our system. At the end of the day, after you complete, you will be able to get your certificate of participation, right? So this is a standard, I call it package. Yeah? Most of people do that. Some people, they add in mask because right now it's the season of mask, right? So they add in mask. Of course, all additional things we add in will just increase the cost. The barrier of entry is higher. So in this case, this organizer actually, maybe he got sponsors, right? Hand sanitizer. So the first 100 bottle, first 100 registration, you get a free bottle of sanitizer. So they do a lot of activities to actually get people to sign up, right? So I'm just sharing with you, these are the common things that people do so that you would have an idea and hopefully it stimulate your idea. How do you do a virtual run? This Cancer Day run is very successful, one of the most successful one that we have done. This is with, I don't know, I think the Ministry of Health or somebody, I'm not sure, this is not under my account. But basically what this organizer did was, he organized a 5 kilometer race, 10 kilometer race, and 21 kilometer. Right, so it's up to you whether you want to, if you're a newbie, you probably choose 5 kilometer. The more serious one said, okay, I will go for 21 kilometer. Of course, 21 kilometer is not in one go. You can run, I think, multiple runs, but it's a period of time. So the more serious runner, 21 kilometer is the distance of what we call a half marathon, right? So the more serious runner will probably be attracted by this. The newbie will probably say, okay, let me just try this because I just want to support the Cancer Society, right? So they are they're quite innovative in the sense that the various packages, right? You can sign up for this event for 25 ringgit. You only get medal, right? Because then my cost is lower, right? If you want to add on with t-shirt, if you just want t-shirt only, it's 35. If you want both, it's 45. right? So you see how people do the various packaging. Of course, you got to know your cost, yeah. But I'm just giving an example. These are how people package to make it interesting, yeah. So these are all the live samples, case study, right? So what I've actually shared with you just now is the entire concept of how you do virtual race, right? The concept, what virtual race is, the concept, how people charge, right? The so on, right? So in CheckPointSpot Virtual Race Platform, these are the three things that we do. We allow online registration with online payment so that we can collect your fee on your behalf, right? We allow people to, after they run, they take a snapshot of their race result, they submit it through our platform, right? At the same time, they will be given a certificate generated by our system. They can go to their leaderboard to see their position and download that certificate, right? So this, in a nutshell, is actually our virtual race platform that you can actually make use of to raise your fund. So how much fund do you think we can raise using this method, right? Just do a quick simulation. A race, usually people will charge between 50 to 60, right? So I'm taking 50 and 55 as the basis for comparison, right? Of course, virtual race, you need to ship their entitlement, their t-shirt, medal to them. There's a courier fee. Courier fee is paid by the participant. So they pay 50 plus 10, 60, right? There is a ticketing fee for using this. I still need to pay payment gateway to the bank, right? So this is on top of this. These two are paid by participants, so it doesn't touch into your fee, right? Your fee, your cost is only your t-shirt, your medal, and the usage of leaderboard, right? To process the results, to process the standing, and to issue out the certificate. The entire automation, it's 4 ringgit per head count, right? That's how we are charging right now. T-shirt, I'm just putting an estimate. Of course, everything depends very much on the design, but I'm just taking this is actually quite a good pricing, right? When we are doing this webinar, we actually talk to our supplier and say, hey, we are doing this for the NGO, right? They will probably come and say, hey, I want everything the cheapest, right? Because we got to maximize our fundraising, right? So these are actually considered quite special price. But if you think you can get other suppliers, because these are all running great t-shirt, right? Medal, of course, everything is from China, right? But more or less, that's the price, right? So the cost is 34. The profits, if you charge at 50, it's going to be 16 ringgit. Right? Assuming your race can get 500 packs, you're looking at this profit, right? I don't know whether that excites you, but yeah, I mean, that's the amount you're looking at. If you're selling at 55, it's going to be this amount. If you're selling at 60, it will, of course, will be higher, right? If you are getting more participants, of course, it will be higher, right? Based on our experience, we have seen virtual run as low as 100 over people, right? Or, those failed one is even below 100. We have seen people hitting as high as 10,000. I'm actually quite amazed because prior to this situation, no Malaysian likes virtual run, right? Because every weekend I've got 4 or 5 races I can join where I can have fun with my friend, run on my own virtually, right? So that's why when we started to develop the virtual platform, we were also thinking, Malaysians generally don't really do virtual run, right? But we were asking ourselves, I want to see how long Malaysian can tahan without running. So we said, okay, let's go ahead and do the platform, right? And we notice right now it's a trend. People are able to accept it. The more serious runner are able to accept it, right? Those days, the more serious runners say, hey, please don't talk to me about virtual run, right? It's an embarrassment if I'm a serious runner, I run in virtual run. I mean, that's the mentality, right? So, but right now it's different, right? You got no choice, right? People say, what, you don't have fish, you got prawn, also you sapu, right? So that's the situation right now, right? How many packs you can get will be dependent on how attractive or how well you market this event, right? So let's face it, I mean, event by itself, even you do physical event, there's also what they call competition to market this, right? But what I'm just sharing with you here is the potential that you can earn from selling the tickets, right? The entry fee, I call it, right? But our platform doesn't stop here, right? That's why we feel that this is quite an ideal platform for fundraising. Okay. Okay, let's go a little bit deeper into, let's see how we can maximize your fundraising using our platform. The first thing that we could add on to whatever ticketing fee that you make from there, right, is what we call online shop profit sharing. We do have our own e-commerce platform where we actually sell all the sports equipment, sports goods, and so on. Yeah, I mean, we also had to go into e-commerce because of the situation that we are all facing in, right? So what happened is that the brand or the factory that's actually saying that they will support you by giving you special whatever cost for your running fee and so on, actually agreed if any participant of the virtual run of the NGO who is coming in, right, we can direct them to the shop to add on other merchandise, right? Let me give you an example of what I'm talking about here. Okay, so this is the official store of the cycling league just now I was showing you, right? So people come here not just to buy t-shirt, people buy the sleeve, right? This is the, we call it the cycling bib. They got cap, right? They got the feeding bag. Of course, these are all the sports enthusiasts. They will understand. Sign up for, let's say, you know, a certain foundation run, right? I pay that 50, 60 ringgit fee. Later on, you know, we will tell them, okay, thank you for signing up. By the way, you might want to consider buying, you know, our this cap and so on, right? You're going to get, let's say, to buy. So they will come, they will buy happily because they get discount, right? So on top of that discount, the partner is actually saying they will put in some margin for to plow it back to the organization, no? Right? So this is what additional revenue that we can enjoy from here. The next one, I call it cross-selling. Yeah, cross-selling, let me show you how it works. We go back to the cycling event, right? So now I'm at a cycling event page, right? I'm interested in this event. I click on the register. So now I'm in registration page, right? They ask me promotion code. I don't have any code, no discount. So I just click on, I move on, right? So this is where I will put in my name. Right? So I key in my name. Now it's asking me, okay, select the category. Remember just now I was showing the cancer run. It got 5 kilometer, 10 kilometer and 21 kilometer. Yeah, you can price it differently. Of course, the more kilometer you can maybe want to price it higher, but actually your cost is the same because your t-shirt is the same. Yeah, your medal is the same, right? But it's up to you, right? So in this case, you see here we put, if you just want to join the race, you can just choose entry only. If you just want to join if you want to join the race and you want the full kit, yeah, full kit, the mask lah, the whatever not, yeah. So there's a kit. So people are actually cross-selling. Yeah, so let me just pick the basic package, right? So basic package is only 15 ringgit. Yeah, admin fee, you see they pay for it, right? That is my fee, I mean that CheckPointSpot fee, so it doesn't touch into your registration fee. Right, you go next level. Okay, he asks you for all the details. Right. Okay, so it goes to this page. This is where I actually wanted to share with you guys. Right. So now before I check out and pay that 17 ringgit, it shows me, hey, by the way, since you are going to ride 160 kilometers, would you consider buying this gel? Because this is a power gel, right? You need this to boost your energy while, if you're going to race 160 km, right? And you can only get this price right now because if you go out and go to my store and buy, it's 90 ringgit. Now you buy at 65, right? If you want, you click and check out, right? But why I'm showing you this is I'm not asking you to add on product to sell. I'm just giving you an idea saying that right now, assuming we have ABC Foundation run, you already pay 50 ringgit to join this run, right? So now you're at this page. This page will tell you, by the way, would you like to donate to, donate a little bit more to ABC Foundation, right? Because, times are bad and stuff like that, right? Then I have a selection here for you: 5 ringgit, 10 ringgit, 50 ringgit, right? Whichever the amount you want to put, right? Something affordable, right? So I might add on another 5 ringgit. Okay, yeah. I mean, 5 ringgit, people don't really think too much. Oh, another 10 ringgit, right? So those are actually your profit. Yeah. So this is how our platform is actually designed to add on to help fundraising, right? So you can see you are not only having the ability to earn from people's joining fee, you can actually add on as added donation. Okay. So that is the cross-selling part. Yeah. That will increase your collection. Let's go the third point. Yeah. We call it a refer a friend. So imagine right now you join ABC Foundation Run. Now I'm going to give you I'll call it, okay, Bless Foundation Virtual Run, right? During your registration process, I will allow the participant to upload their photo. Yeah, trust me, runners like to show their running photo, right? This is our recent Malaysian Running League photo, Malaysian Marathon League photo. So people proudly take a photo of their running self. So I will give you a personalized photo frame that say, I have joined, in this case, Kimberly have joined Bless Foundation Virtual Run, right? Kimberly have a message, join me to help them raise funds for the underprivileged. So that gives you a lot of exposure, right? That helps you, your participant actually helps to spread your event around. That's one thing, right? What do you think Kimberly is going to do when she gets this photo frame, right? With her photo there, and it's personalized, right? She's definitely going to put it into social media and share, right? Her Instagram and her Facebook. So what our system will do is, now I give Kimberly a special link, right? Kimberly, this is your personal link, right? Please help and recruit your friends using your link. Why do I say that? Is because if you introduce friends from this link, I can actually track how many people, right, that you introduce. So let's go back to Malaysia, Sejuta, Lanka. Why is it so, in a way, successful? Is because we have this referral program, right? We give the same link to those participants and they invite their friends. And you can just see how many friends they introduce, right? You look at Loli Fang, right? She actually bring in 736 participants, right? Of course, we have some small prizes there, right? There are some, there's I think about 10 or 15 smartwatches, right? Not very expensive product, right? It's about 100, 200 ringgit kind of smartwatch, not those by the thousand one, right? But people join, right? You see 700, 200, 137, right? This feature is important, not merely for introducing friend, right? Where your participant get participant, because you guys are NGO, you have your you have your own set of regular supporter, right? Be it 100 of them, 200 of them, 300 of them. Right now, they are kind of like our, I call it soldiers, right? Because they believe in our cause, they are helping us. Right now, to all the soldiers, right? Every one of you, I'm going to give you a personalized code, right? Our task is everyone recruit 10 people to join, right? So you can monitor whether you want to incentivize them, whether, it is more like, hey, whoever gets the highest is a pride thing, that I'm contributing more and things like that. It's up to you all to use this to do your program, right? Basically, I'm saying you can use this to incentivize your participant to get more participants. You can use this to incentivize, I call it your foot soldier, your supporter, your ambassador, to get more people, right? So this is how you actually make use of, I call it this refer a friend program, which I find it to actually be very useful for you all to, increase your, I call it the sign up rate, right? So let's move on. Run for a cause. As the name says, we create this concept of when you're running, you run for something that you believe in, right? Whether is it I run for cancer, I run for, kidney, I run for whatever the cause is that you believe in, right? And you raise fund for that cause, right? Again, let me give you a case study. This is a run called Kebaya Run, right? It's a normal run, right? You wear kebaya and you run. You see how people make the concept, right? So the whole team is all about kebaya. right? So the fun is you wear kabaya and you run. Imagine you're wearing kabaya and you're running, right? So that's where they have fun, right? This organizer is a women rights advocate, right? Some of you might know her, right? She actually she's the organizer of Malaysian Women Marathon, our largest women marathon in Malaysia, right? So she did this run, right? As part of her run, of course, all the ticket sales and so on is her profit, right? But as part of her run, she actually support Johor Women League Pertubuhan Pergerakan Wanita Johor. It's an NGO, right? As part of a CSR campaign, right? So Jewel, right? The group is called Jewel. So basically, she's telling her participant, right? Besides joining this race, we are actually running for women, right? We are, helping Jewel to raise fund. Can you all do something about it or not? And help to raise fund, right? So you can see it's actually I call it a commercial run, but with the element of CSR, with the element of fundraising, right? So how she does is all her participants, I think a portion of the all her participants is actually again given a run for a cause code, right? Their code. So what they are supposed to do is as I run, I'll get that photo frame just now that I show you, and I'm saying I'm running for, let's say, cancer research, right? Please support me because I'm running for breast cancer, right? Another one say I'm running for prostate cancer, right? So everybody will have their own pledge, right? They will run, right? They will share the link to their friend, and then they will tell their friend, please, since you're not joining the run, can you please contribute under my name or not, right? On behalf of me, because I'm running for a cause, right? So you can see from here, right? So Ying Ping managed to collect about 4,000, NG 4,000, right? So every one of them, you see there's a donation link. So if I want to donate, let's say So Ying Ping is my friend, I click on donate, So Ying Ping, I can actually donate to So Ying Ping's cause, right? So you look at it, a few thousand, of course, it gets lesser and lesser. Of course, not all your participants believe in your cause. Yeah? Some join just for the t-shirt and for the fun. There's a lot kosong one. Yeah, that's normal. Yeah? But all you need is actually these people who really believe in the cause, right? Even 50 ringgit, 70 ringgit, and so on, right? So these are all what I'm trying to say is on top of your ticketing fee, right? That 8,000, 10,000 that I show you, that's on top, right? You guess what? How much these guys collected? I think they collected about 34,000, right? This goes to the Jewel. So I feel this donation run for a cause is actually quite important, right? It's very powerful if you know how to use it, right? Right? Basically, it enhances or I call it, generates additional funding. Since you're going to organize a run, right? You might as well take note of all these features to add on to maximize the income, I call it, right? So these 4 features that we have within our platform, I believe is actually very well suited for fundraising, right? That's why we are quite excited to share this. Hopefully you can see that opportunity as well, right? So yes, these are 4 key features. So just now, as I was sharing again, right? I'm talking about our platform. We do registration, we do result submission, we do this, right? These are the add-on that I just showed you, right? You can potentially profit share from the partner merchandise sales. If they sell, it's a bonus. If they don't sell, so be it, right? Nothing to do with you. You don't need to bother, right? But you can maximize by saying, hey, after you pay $50, give me 5 ringgit more, yeah? It's for a good cause, right? People will do that, yeah? So, instead of selling it at 60 ringgit right now, I'm selling it 65. Yeah, it's additional 5 ringgit, right? So I refer a friend that helps you spread the thing, right? Then, of course, the run for a cause, which I just showed you, right? So these are all add-on modules. So what CheckPointSpot is actually offering right now is if any NGO right now doing a run, right, during this year, right? Of course, the ticketing, everything, we still got to charge you, right? The 6% here, and then anything that involves collection, we got to charge you that 6%, right? Because we still pay to the bank, right? And then, of course, using our leaderboard, I mean, that is our only small income, right? Usually, if a race organizer comes and say, hey, I want to add on all this, yeah, you got to pay me a setup fee, right? Because these are technology that we develop, right? We spend a lot of money developing this, right? But for the NGOs, we are saying, please go ahead and use it. I'm not going to charge you. I'm not going to tell you, hey, give me 1,000 ringgit in advance, not knowing whether your event works or doesn't work, right? But if you manage to get 10 people, please let me earn a little bit lah, yeah, because I still got the 10, 20 people that, I mean, the 10 people that we need to take care, all right? So I feel that this could be a win-win if we can get this right. So this is an overview of our fundraising platform, right? I think it's actually in a way perfected for fundraising, right? In a virtual way, right? I also want all of you to also look at it from another angle, right? If tomorrow, assuming everything is hunky-dory, people can run, you will do your normal walk and you know, your races, right, to raise fund, right? And you know, when you do your race and walk, you will incur a lot of cost because you need to build the arch, you need to, you know, have the crew, you need to have the police, you need to have, there's a cost, a fixed cost, right? If your run manage to attract 100 people, you still pay the same amount of money, you know, that you will pay to set up a 10,000 people run. I mean, something along that line, right? But if you think next time when you do your physical run, there are still a group of people, let's say I'm doing my run in Dataran Merdeka, right? There is maybe a group of cancer advocate in Penang, which they say, there's no way I can travel down just for the weekend to run in Dataran Merdeka. But if you have a complementary virtual version to complement your actual race day, maybe I will join, right? Because I'm an advocate of cancer, right? So indirectly, it actually might open up big market, right? Especially after this pandemic, I believe Malaysian acceptance of virtual run will still be there. Yeah, will still be there. So this is something that you might want to consider, right? It's an option right now, strictly virtual for the current situation that we're in. It's a better option than we have nothing at all, right? So yes, this part. So okay, I've actually shared with you what is virtual run, some concept of how you can do your virtual run, right? You just got to go back and figure out with your team, hey, how do I want to do the race? You can always contact us if you want our input, right? But you have to come up with your own program, right? After that, you can consider to make use of all the modules that I just mentioned, right? If you have a more creative way of fundraising using that module, by all means, check with us. We are more than willing to help, right? So if you are ready and you're saying, okay, after this, I want to do this, right? I want to do my first virtual event. How should I start, right? So you basically need to design your event concept, bro. You need to think, whether is it a walk, whether is it a community or steps, whether is it a group, whether is it individual, right? How long do I run and so on. You got to finalize the concept, right? So based on the concept, you develop the banner, right? Like just now the kebaya, everything looks like kebaya, right? You got the T, you got a medal, right? Of course, you got to develop a lot of materials. I call it for social media publication, right? So technically, your team should have somebody who is good at designing. Yeah, that is, to me, you can't run because it's a digital and virtual event. You need to have some level of expertise here, right? So this is in a way a must. Then you look at, of course, you need a supplier, right? If you are going to give tea and medal, you need to at least you have 2 suppliers, right? You need to find who can give you the best courier rate, courier provider, because they're the one going to ship for you, right? But this area, if you feel that you don't have the resources or expertise to do this, like I say, we have our existing supplier. You can make use of them. If you think that you can get it cheaper, by all means, you have your own, right? And then, of course, you need to have a platform provider, someone who can actually register your participant, manage your participant detail, importantly, because you need to ship them the things, right? Don't assume all ticketing platforms are the same, right? Imagine you take you get a ticketing platform, and then this ticketing platform says, hey, actually all the postcode are somehow, I don't know why my system is missing. Then how are you going to ship, right? Then you start contacting that 100 people, 1,000 people and say, hey, can I have a postcode? Can I have a postcode, right? So you go crazy, yeah, you go bonkers, right? And of course, a complete solution that can process the result and give you a leaderboard results, right? So you need to have these 3 considerations, yeah? Simple, right? So it just these 3 considerations to set up your own virtual race, right? Let's get into a bit of a harder part, okay? Actually, the hardest part in any races or event that we do is actually the engagement, right? The engagement, coming up with a concept, the design, everything, probably we can find people to do it, right? But how do I get a participant, right? That's where engagement is always a challenge, right? You need to have somebody or a team that can actually do a little bit of digital marketing, right? There is no such thing as, okay, now my race is up, published on CheckPointSpot. I just sit down, shake leg, and wait for people to come in. Yeah, I mean, there's no such thing, right? Everybody is fighting for attention. So you need somebody or a team to actually say, hey, at least in your Facebook page, you also do some work or some activities or right. CheckPointSpot, of course, we will support you in terms of we have our Facebook page as well. I think about close to about 38,000 people. We have our Facebook group as well, right? We have got various Facebook group, right? Because we engage community in a different way. We work with running community as well, right? So we do have some running community members where, you know, they can encourage their team to join. We do have more than 200,000 running, I call it community email, right? Where we can, you know, help you publish in our newsletter and so on, right? So these are the things we can do, right? But you cannot everything solely depend on, hey, CheckPointSpot, you got to get me 10,000 people, right? I can't because I handle maybe 10, 20 events simultaneously. Everybody want 10,000, I need to get them, you know, 1 million or you know, 100,000 people. How am I going to find 100,000 people, right? So that's the reality, right? So engagement is very important, right? You might want to consider, hey, you do event, there's some cost for social media ads, maybe, right? One thing I noticed is I spend actually quite a lot of time reading or getting my news on YouTube. And I noticed lately when I go into YouTube, I see a lot of NGO advertisement, right? Raising fund for masjid, where, you know, there's certain war in certain country, you know, they are raising funds and so on, right? So these NGO, I'm sure they are not going to go to YouTube and say, hey, YouTube, can you give me free, you know, advertising? You know, no, I think they pay on their own, right? So people are already trying to do that. So maybe we should also think that, yeah, you know, I should have some budget to do things like that, right? Of course, marketing budget, right? If you do engagement with your you know, participant and so on, or your Facebook likes and followers, you need to have something to incentivize them, right? Hey, can you, you know, this we're going to have a lucky draw. Can you share this event in your timeline, right? Tag 10 friends, right? You might be one of the lucky winner, right? The lucky winner, although it's a small thing, it's still a cost, right? You got to ship it to them. There's still shipping costs. So you might want to look at things like that, all right? So all these have to be costed, you know, right? So that's why I say engagement is very important, right? The other part of engagement that I believe that is the strength of NGO, right? You have your supporters network, like I was saying just now. If you come up with the referral program, right? The refer a friend program, and you tell them, hey, let's each one of us minimum get 10, right? So everybody got some kind of a KPI benchmark, right? Although, yeah, you're volunteers, but, you know, sometimes peer pressure, it works, yeah? Or even go to your regular corporate supporter, right? Now they say, hey, to give you cash is a bit painful, but I do have my network of suppliers. I do have my employees. I do have, they do have their strength, right? Leverage on their strength, leverage on their community, leverage on their reach out, right? And the third thing that is always the advantage of NGO is you can go to media and say right now, hey, I'm doing this big major fundraising because, you know, the whole entire industry is in trouble, right? So being an NGO, they will probably say, okay, let me give you some space or advertising space or, right, or a write-up or a press release, right? It helps. You need to leverage on that because when CheckPointSpot goes to them, they, you know, they wouldn't even want to talk to me unless I pay them money, right? So, but you can leverage on that. So this I call it minimum basic engagement. You got to do it. Yeah. Be prepared if you do your own virtual event, right? So this is engagement. There are also opportunities, right? There are also opportunities. Let me go into opportunities, right? Why I share this opportunity is among us tonight are not only NGOs. There are some corporate friends of mine whom when they hear that we are doing this webinar for the first time, right? They themselves are already giving out foods, you know, donating to all the charitable organization and so on. So they are saying, I want to do more, right? I want to learn how I could contribute to this. They find this to be quite interesting. So I told them, please welcome and join us because there is a part where you can play a role. Yeah, to all my corporate friends who are in this webinar today, right? There is a part, right? If you look at all the things that I talk about, right? I told the so-called NGO and say, hey, you got to have somebody good in graphic, you got to have somebody good in digital marketing, you're going to have somebody spend a bit on social media ads, you're going to talk to your supporters, your corporate network and so on. A lot of them will actually feel overwhelmed. I don't blame, because not all of us have got the resources and expertise, right? A lot of people will look at this, oh, it's good opportunity, but I just don't have the capability to do this. Where our corporate friends can come in, right? So imagine I'm a big conglomerate. I say I'm going to do my conglomerate run, right? I'm going to get all my employees to join. I'm going to get all my suppliers to join. I'm going to do it in a big way, right? You can get a bit of, I call it publicity mileage out of it, right? And all these profits that we make from here, from selling, you know how we make the money from selling the T-shirt and so on and so forth, right? Goes to this group of charity that I'm, pledging to, right? So as a corporate partner, this is what you could do your part, right? Look at the network of people that you have. Look at the network of supporters that you have. I believe tonight we also have somebody from the job recruitment sector, right? If Jess or team is with us, you can actually look at all your employer, right? Because they are your client, right? They engage you to recruit their staff, right? So right now, say for example, my recruitment company is working with, let's say, a tree foundation. I'm helping them to raise fund. Can you all, because they're all employers, right? They all have employee, big or small, right? Please join. I can give you a special rate to join, but all proceeds goes to this organization. So using your connection, using your contact, you can actually help create or generate some funds, not from your own pocket, but it's just effort, right? It's just effort, it's just program. And that also probably builds close relationship with your, with your customers, right? Because, hey, instead of just taking money from me, they also do activities which, you build a camaraderie, right? So to me, it actually helps if corporate looks at it from a different angle, right? So for NGO, if you feel that you got corporate partners, but you don't have the resources to do what I just mentioned, maybe you can just convince them and say, hey, why don't you do it, right? You got all the resources. After all, your graphic designer is there, right? Your PR person is there, your, whoever, it's all there. You're still paying the salary, right? Not to say right now it's a season or super busy, right? So maybe you want to help me out, right? And, support me. I'm not asking you for money. I know everybody is tight, but at least do this program for me. So this is one approach you can do, right? Let me share another opportunity. Right? Within us tonight also, there are a lot of race organizers, there are a lot of running captains, people we are close with, people who are in this industry, right? So what I just want to impress upon the race organizer is when you do your run, right? When you do your whatever run or virtual run that you do, you can always do that, I call it the cross-selling, right? By the way, you pay for my run 50 ringgit. Do you mind donating to, let's say, let's say Beautiful Gate Foundation, they are here tonight, right? Do you mind, add on 10 ringgit for them, right? If you add on, you add on. No? If you don't add on, it's okay. We're just asking. Nothing is lost, right? You can also add the run for a course module in your race format, right? So besides running that 600 km or 6,000 kilometer, right? Please encourage your friend, because you as a team of 30 people, can you run for cancer? Another team of 30 people, can you run for prostate? Can you know another 30 people, can you run for something else, right? So everybody collectively organize and raise fund. It helps the foundation, right? It helps the society, right? And this doesn't erode into your profit as an organizer, right? So I'm also sharing this opportunity because there are race organizers among us tonight, right? And that also, I also want to, in a way, let the society knows, or the organization knows, you can actually approach organizers directly. If you think you don't have the resources to do your own, right? To appeal to them, hey, why don't you add on my, my cost in your event? After all, you're running it, right? I mean, you're already putting in the time and effort, right? So engagement is actually the last part which I'm sharing, because this is actually the most important part, right? We can talk about, oh, how nice the event is and so on, right? Without engagement, there's no way you can get the numbers, right? And I'm just sharing, there are opportunities if you think you don't have the resources and expertise, right? So yes, so this is the engagement part. So I'm done. Yeah, I think we are slightly over an hour, right? So thank you for being patient. I hope what I've shared is actually useful, right? If you guys, for those who need to go, I know it's actually quite late. You are welcome to go, right? For those who have question and answer, we can take it, maybe until 9:30, right? And this is my contact and Fairo's contact. Please maybe take a snapshot, right? You can always contact us, but we will be sending you the deck with our contact in it, right? But this is meanwhile for the next 1 2 days. If you need to get back to us, get in touch with us urgently. These are our contact, right? So with this, let me hand over to Stephanie, and let's see if there's any question. I hope it's useful for all. Thank you.
Right, thank you, Mr. Ben. So I think you guys, whoever wants to take a screenshot first. Otherwise, we will contact you via email or WhatsApp. Okay, so now if anyone has a question, you may either type it in the text box. Our team will try to answer, or you can also raise your hands. If anyone of our team see any raised hands, we will allow you to speak as well. Anyone? So, or for the latecomers, oh, I saw KL Lim. Hang on, yeah. Did you find? Can you find your unmute button?
Yeah, good evening, Ben. Uh, Ben, can you hear me, Ben?
Yeah, I can get.
Yeah, I saw in your costing, there is no element for the race organizer. It's
Uh,
not costed in, right?
Yes. So what I've actually just shared just now is the society and the NGO are the race organizer themselves, right?
Oh, I
That's
see.
why
Okay.
that's why I say you need to at least make sure that you have designer, right? You need to your look and feel to be attractive, right? You need to have the suppliers and the platform provider, which you already have if you work with us. So you just need to basically make sure that you got a designer to churn out. I call it the content. Without the content, actually you can't market, right? So a lot of people say, I got banner, I'm done, right? But that's where the work just started, because you got to engage people to get them engaged into your program, right? That's why I'm also suggesting maybe it can be overwhelming for some organization because they don't have the resources. So you could leverage on corporate partners if you have, right? Or your volunteers if you have, or maybe try to get close to some of the organizers, right? And tell them, hey, why don't you add on for my organization, right? You are running the race anyway, right? So yeah, so those are the basic things you need to have, at least the designer to kickstart it.
No, Ben, what I meant was for a new kid on the block in terms of organizing a race. So because if you're just an NGO and you have not been doing this, so you're going to trip and fall and all the kind of things. And can we look into, because there's no cost element there in terms of and the appointment of a race organizer. So right, if you ask us to do it, yes, we gonna do the plain vanilla kind of thing, and then your the fund that you're gonna raise, that margin will be very much higher. But what happens if you're gonna screw up everything along the way because you have no experience? So you would need to actually bring in the race organizers, and that will also eat into the funds that you're going to end up with at the end of the day, right?
Yeah. So as you rightly pointed out, KL, I think that organization to actually look at the running groups, right? A lot of them, their passion is just running, right? So if they believe in your cause, right, they can easily set up a program, right, working together with you, right, as part of your volunteering team, right. They have the expertise and experience, and they even have the community that can, will support the cause when it is all developed by them. So that is one option. Yes, you're right. Some of them are actually in this webinar today. So some of them are actually already talking about doing that. In fact, I think next 1 week, maybe 1 or 2 weeks from now, we are going to launch a marathon, right? A virtual marathon for Malaysia Day, right? We are already talking to with NGOs to say, hey, the fund that we raise probably will go to you, right? So how do we coordinate the, the activities and so on? So in this case, the NGO doesn't really do anything, no? Right? But for us, is we do this as part of our add-on, if we can, to help out, right? Yes, please do consider approaching all the running groups with the relevant expertise. Yes, of course, you can also come to us. We will be able to give input. But what I'm trying to say is we are also actually quite tight, right? With our small team, we cannot to get too involved in the, the day-to-day so-called, developing your event, because we deal with quite a lot of events. Yeah.
Any more questions, Lim? Okay, yeah. All right. So, okay. So I will remove pin. We will take a couple of Q&A on the chat group first, because some of the
I
messages
saw
are sent to
some,
me directly.
I saw some questions there. Maybe
Okay.
I can take it, Stephanie.
Okay, we
There's
take.
one question from Sylvia. There's one question from Sylvia. If CheckPointSpot does the organizing, how much is your fee? Sylvia, unfortunately, we don't really have the resources to help people organize each and every event, because event that we do are actually, I call it, but you need a lot of resources. Yeah, let me give you an example. The Malaysian Cycling League that I showed you just now, right? Part of it, we are doing it to help the Malaysian National Cycling Federation, right? In that event, we do a lot of engagement, right? We call up all the cyclists, all the, those people who are known in the cyclist industry, the influencer. We do video, we do interview, we do live session. So imagine if I do that for one event, actually I don't have the resources to support the other event. That's why we try not to do that, right? But collective event, we will help out if we can, right? One of the things that we are actually thinking about is if there is good, sufficient response coming from everybody tonight, and we said, hey, maybe we should, each do individual organization do our own event. If there are enough people, what we can do is, instead of focusing on each and every event to help you guys to do it, you do all the planning, we will add on the activities. That means we will do it like, let's say, towards Q4, right? End of the year, right? We will call it like, these are the team for that quarter is, right? We are helping, we go out, just like everybody right now today is going out and say white flag, right? The team right now is get food to the needs of the people, right? So the team of Q4 could be, we need to raise fund, right? Because this is where fire is already burning, right? So we have ABC Foundation is all running their own event, right? CheckPointSpot can chip in terms of expertise. We can engage the community. We can do interview, live session with your organization, share with people your plight, show people what's really happening down the ground. This is where you touch people, right? This is where we tell, you got to engage them, right? And this takes a lot of effort. So I can't do it from one particular organization. But if collectively you guys decided, hey, maybe we should all find a time we do this together, then yes, it's worth our effort to say, we do one big one, we help everybody, right? But individually, it's going to be a struggle for us. Yeah. So that I hope answers Sylvia. Just now I saw somebody was asking, too many questions here. Somebody was asking, how long does it take for us to set up an event? If you provide us with all the banners, everything ready, usually we will set it up between 3 to 5 working days, right? So it's pretty fast. Yeah. Setting up is the easy job. A lot of greetings in the chat. I see a lot of familiar names. Is there any more question that I failed to pick up?
There is one from MJ Wong Fonseca. He say, will it be good to have notes so that the committee can review? And then one question, does CPS take a cut of what is collected? If yes, what is the percentage?
Okay, as I mentioned earlier on, we will be sharing a deck, right? A summary of what was shared, right? Basically, it's like a summary guide to say, if you want to do a virtual run, right? What I just shared just now will be in the deck. I will hope that over this weekend, we email to everybody who joined, right? Whether we take a cut, as I mentioned earlier during the sharing as well, we will not be charging any fixed setup fee to NGOs right now, right? Because we don't want you to pay me anything if you are even unsure how much you can collect, right? But if there is a participant that you get in who pays for your item, right, we will take a cut, right? So for registration, ticketing fee, we 6% or minimum RM2, but that is charged to the participant. You don't pay for it, NGO doesn't pay for it, right? You still get a 50 ringgit, but the participant will pay 53 ringgit. 3 ringgit goes to us, right? Because we need to pay the bank, right? If you use our submission, the leaderboard, right? We charge 4 ringgit per participant, right? To run the system and so on, right? That is actually, these are the only two incomes that we have. Yeah, I hope that answer that, yeah, the question.
Okay. And then I saw a raised hand, Datin Paduka. Let me try to unmute her. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you very much for such informative. In fact, there's so much to learn from all of you. We have done so many events in the past, but physically, So we would like to sit down to see how we can go about, because we are really, really down now, and we have two big projects to sustain. So this is something very challenging, and I do hope that gives us the opportunity to collaborate or to work with all of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Datin.
Yeah, Datin, you're welcome, right? This is also one of the reasons why it drives us to do this, right? Because it's actually tough, right? Earlier on, I shared with you the photos of our team and so on. It also hit us badly, right? Imagine no business, right? Zero business from March until now, right? We have been hanging on. All of us are cutting, whatever resources that we have just to stay afloat, right? So we are hoping this will be able to help, whoever can make use, I call it, on the platform. You're welcome to arrange if you need. I don't think we can sit down together. Probably we can do a con call if you want. Yeah, one of these days. Yeah, we are more than happy to share whatever we can. Yeah, you have our numbers. Please get in touch with us. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Datin.
You're welcome.
All right, Ben, there's one more question, which is very, I think we could, Chris Fan is asking, how successful have been the recent virtual race projects? Any not successful virtual race and lessons to learn?
Okay, the reality is the sentiment is not good of late, right? That since the so-called the MCO 3.0 is actually quite bad, because right now you can't even run individually outside your house, right? 2 weeks ago, you can still run, you cannot cycle. I don't know why, right? You can run, but you cannot cycle. Now, even running is disallowed, right? So it is actually affecting the industry. Registration numbers are coming down, right? But from what I observe, right, from since March 2020, from what I observe, things are always up and down, right? You never know when is the best time, right? Because tomorrow they can say, hey, numbers are down. Okay, let's open up, right? So suddenly everything is like hunky-dory again, right? And then by the time you want to do your event, you find that, hey, I'm not ready, right? By the time you plan with your committee, I want to launch, hey, they lock down again. How, right? So this is how volatile the situation is right now. right? But I'm just telling everyone here is that we got to prepare with our concept, right? If, like, for example, our bicycle league challenge is already launched, yes, it affects the people signing up, right? We are hoping when the sentiments are better, things will come back, right? But if I cannot do the race right now, I can always say, okay, race has been postponed to slightly later date, because you cannot lock down forever, right? You would eventually open up a little bit of breathing space. But at this point of time, there is no breathing space. We are not even allowed, that little small hole for us to breathe, because everything is total lockdown, right? So it's, yeah, you're right. It impacts us very badly right now, right? If you look at it, running industry, sports industry is one industry nobody talks about. It's not even in the phase 2, phase 3, phase 4, phase 5 planning, right? That shows you how important people are placing this industry. But this industry contribute a lot to our GDP, to our, to the job market and things like that. Yeah, but yeah, I mean that's another story. I could go on for another hour, lamenting about that, right? But do get ready, right? Because when the window open, the opportunity could be small, right? So we might want to just get ready. Yeah, I hope that answered the question.
Okay. There's another good question here. Hi Ben, this is a question from Lee Yi Sing. Yeah? Hi Ben, wish to ask, can checkpoint system track every participant for their own NGO cause? Let's say a running event which involve 10 NGOs. Say NGO A approach 1,000 participant. Can your system track this 1,000 participant is from NGO A? So there's two questions here. Second question will the money be kept by Checkpoint? How fast will Checkpoint release the money back to the main organizer? Okay, so that's another follow-up question. Third question, will the how will the main organizer going to distribute the profit to these 10 NGOs based on their own effort? Has Checkpoint experienced this type of event?
Okay, I didn't get your third question. Let me try to answer the second question. When you do ticketing in our platform, it is using our payment gateway. So when you use our payment gateway, of course, money all collected under our company, right? Our usual practice is we will tell the organizer, as anytime you think that you need to withdraw, because what we do is we will give you a login to our backend dashboard. So you will be able to see the live results, right? How many t-shirts sold, how many amount of money collected, how many participants. You can even download the data of your event participant, right? So all these are actually, I call it your property, right? So you have live real-time access to our dashboard, right? So at any point of time, you see, wow, there's already 30,000 there, right? So I need you to advance me 10,000 first, or 20,000, or even everything, right? So you just tell us, hey, Ben, I need to release already, right? So we will usually take about 3-4 days to compute what is the latest figure, and so on. We give you a statement and we'll transfer to you, right? If not, we will usually wait until, okay, event over, we will calculate within a week, we will settle off for you. So it depends. If you need it anytime, you can actually approach us and we will disperse. No issue. We've been doing it since 2015, right? In the good times, our transaction are actually quite a lot. Right now, of course, it came down tremendously. So that is on the payment gateway. I hope I explained that. You were talking about, can our system track, right? If you have different team or different NGO doing their own, what they call recruitment, yes, every NGO or every team is assigned a unique, I call it ID, right? So as long as people sign up or register or referred by you using your unique ID, right, we will know, okay, it's coming from this guy, right? And this person actually signed up and paid, okay, this is the amount of, whatever that is due to this organization, we will be able to record. So I hope that also answer. I didn't get the third question. So
The
yeah.
third question is related to the second. The third question is, how will the main organizer going to distribute the profit to all the separate NGOs based on their effort? Has Checkpoint experienced this type of event before?
Your line actually breaks up, right? Let me try to put some sense into what you're saying. we usually, if I deal with, let's say, NGO A, right? This event is called NGO A, right? But if this NGO work with another 10 NGO, because I will sign the service agreement with NGO A, right? NGO A will tell me, once you collect, this is my bank account, right? So there is a service proper agreement, right? Because you're handling money. I don't want when, sometimes NGO, yeah, you put it into my committee, right? Or you put it into, mostly, I call it student body, right? I don't even have a registered society, right? So can you put it into my account? And all I'm worried is somebody come and say, it shouldn't go into a personal account. Why are you putting it there? Then I end up handling all the dispute, right? So what we do is we usually sign an agreement. If you tell me all this goes to here, right, we will make sure that it goes into this account. How you distribute it among all your sub NGO and your team and so on, I leave it up to you, right? As long as you fulfill what you said that you're going to do, right? So there are also events where people do, and then they say, oh, cannot now without the lockdown or not enough participants, right? So maybe I need to do refund and so on. Yeah, they also ask us to do refund, but of course, when that happens, there is a cost, right? Because the effort to do refund is actually very laborious, right? It's not as simple as, okay, you pay me through account A, I will refund you back to account A. No, because I don't have information on account A, right? Because that bank account is, I call it privacy information. My payment gateway has it, but I don't have it, right? So I need to go back to all the participants and say, again, can you, give me a bank account number? I'm going to refund you. So there's actually quite a laborious process. So try not to cancel your event if you are, thinking of doing one. Yeah, it's very tedious. Yeah, there's a bit of deviation, but yeah, something to
Okay, I
share.
think you have answered the question. Thank you. And then there's another two more questions. One from Joe Liu. Ben, what's the time frame from registration to race kit to race day period and to medal? I mean, when the race complete lah.
Usually people will open registration a month, 1.5 months, right? There are organizers who say, okay, while my registration is open, you register right now, you can start running, right? There are organizers who say, no, you wait until my registration close, right? There is a official date where you run. So it's how formal you want to structure your race, right? It's all, what do you call it, mental concept, right? A race that I joined today, you will appeal to people who say, hey, I want to run already, I don't want to wait, right? But some people say, no, it has to be properly done, right? Then after that, maybe we will do I call it a virtual flag off. I mean, one of the running group actually gave me quite a good idea, right? So, we can do live session and say, okay, today is the official race day, right? So all the people, please start running, then they interview here and there and so on, right? So that adds to the element of run. I mean, this is what virtual is all about, right? So yes, you can do immediate run, you can do a certain period of run, right? Registration usually 1 month, 1.5 months. If those events that you say you can sign up right now and you can immediately run, then you don't need to close your registrations so early, you can always let it add on, because people stagger in, doesn't matter, right? Because they can run the next day, right? So it's up to you, 2 months, 3 months, right? But of course, anything more than 3 months probably is a bit stale, right? How you fulfill the merchandise, the t-shirt and the medal, that is a challenge, because you got to order in bulk, right? That is why our partner, like the t-shirt, and say, okay, it doesn't matter. We know that some of us will struggle, even with minimum quantity, we will still try to fulfill, yeah. But try not to do like what they call it, batches. I mean, or as in like every week you want, right? So it's going to be very chaotic. So usually some people will have a cutoff, right? If you join by when, you will get your t-shirt expected by when, right? Or some organizers say, end of the race, because I don't have resources, right? End of the race, I tabulate everything. I make one single order. One day I pack everything, I send out, right? Some organizers even say, CheckPointSpot, can you all pack for me, right? Because they use my what do you call it, my courier services, where I print all the slip ready for them. It's a sticker, right? So you don't need to write one by one. So that's what they use our system for. But of course, the courier fee will be slightly higher, but it's paid by the participant, right? So they use that. It's easy because some even say, hey, you slot it for me, yeah? I will send all the t-shirt to you, right? So it depends. There's a lot of variation, right? But those things that we can support, we will try to support. Of course, all this manual work that involves certain costs. Yeah, so I believe for NGO, you probably say, I need to maximize my fundraising. I will get my volunteers and we will pack. That is fine, right? That's fine. You might be able to also find your your cheaper courier and so on, right? But courier is quite tedious, right? Because when you ship, you need to tell every participant of this, hey, this is a tracking number. So how are you going to tell them, right? You're going to SMS, it costs you money, right? You go and WhatsApp one by one manually, right? It's a lot of work, right? So that's why a lot of them resorted to, CheckPointSpot, you do it. After all, I'm not paying for it. They are paying for it, right? Because what we do, everything we use system. The slip printing is automated. It's a sticker. You just tear it, you stick it onto your, the flyer. It's easy. You just need to look at the size, slot it in. That's it. You will arrange for the courier to come pick it up from you, right? And as the shipment is out, we will email blast to all the participants, hey, this is your tracking number, this is your tracking number, this is your tracking number. So please don't come and disturb me and ask me, hey, when, right? You can check, right? The only time they disturb you is, hey, where's my shipment? So this is also very tedious. So that's where most of the time organizer will just say, hey, CheckPointSpot, you do it, yeah? Because there's actually a lot of follow-up work and so on. Yeah.
Okay, last question. This is from Ashley Au. Would like to ask if a corporate company is illegal to set up a foundation bank account for this kind of raise fund run.
Setting up foundation is not my expertise. Yeah, I believe a lot of you in the group will probably be able to answer that better than me, right? But if I deal with a corporate, all the collection that I collect will go back to the company that engaged me. That's where you put your name into the service agreement. That's the bank account that I'm going to pay into. How you channel that money to the foundation, that's going to be from your company to the foundation. No? I don't think you will want to set up a foundation just to run a virtual race, right? Unless that is your long-term goal to actually set up a foundation for your company to do other things than just virtual race. Yeah.
All right, thank you. So it's 9:37. I think we should end the session. If anyone have more enquiries, I actually type Ben's contact number and email address as well as Fyro's contact number and email address at the chat box. You can just copy and keep it. I think that's about it lah, right? Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us tonight. Right. I hope it's helpful. Please do keep in touch. Take care, everybody. Stay safe. Justin was asking actually, if we use our own platform to submit, can we engage CPS? Yes, if you don't use my leaderboard, you actually just use my ticketing if you need, right? So you just, the participant just pay for the 6%, right? So you don't need to pay me the 4 ringgit for using leaderboard. Yes, you can. Our system is actually modularized. So you can choose the module that you need. Yeah. So anyway, it's quite late. So let's better call it a night.
I saved down the chat, so in case if we miss out any question later, we can look back lah.
Yeah, can. Hi, Stephanie V. Thank you for joining us. Okay, I better not disturb when they are all leaving. Bye.
I think we can close already. Okay. Roy, you can stop the recording. Okay. Bye bye.